everybody eats and everybody moves. One of the areas that rehab and nutrition can really provide is someone might say, and I'll let Lexi expand on the exercise piece, something like, oh, you need to increase your exercise. First of all, exercise can be a scary word. So I know, physical activity is better. I'm stealing Lexi's thunder a little bit here. But also, there are times that people have never thought about food in terms of how many ounces am I drinking, how many grams of protein. They might not even know what a protein source is. And so the reason I'm saying that is because our disciplines are trained in, you could walk in with zero knowledge of what a gram of protein is, and it's our job. We take that on. We want to educate you on what are the things that you need to pay attention to, and that's part of our skill set, because it's way more than you need to eat more and you need to move more. It's like, well, what does that translate to if I have X, Y, and Z? That's our job, and that's why I think that sort of ability to follow patients is so important, because rarely is a one-time education enough. And so we really want to take the time to walk through handouts with you, walk through what's a normal day, how does it differ for you now that you've gone through this, what are the main things you want to accomplish out of the visit. And so I think that piece is a testament to why we do need dedicated time with patients, and we appreciate when other team members send them our way. They've identified the need, but they know they need a professional to walk through all of that with them.
I think in the rehab space, the best example that we have of this is when patients are told, oh, just walk. Just walk. And, it's so interesting because we can have patients come in that have been told that, and they literally can't walk for a variety of reasons, or they can't walk very far because they haven't had the treatment or the advice or the assessment of why they can't do that. And so I think that that's just, an age-old example in this space of just why the skill that we have is needed to really assess and allow those patients to be able to walk, to be able to do the activity. And walking is not the answer for everybody. It's the easy answer, I think, because, we know there's benefit to physical activity. But if you're not in a place to be able to sort of even do that act, it's impossible to even think about. And I think we see patients get really discouraged with that. It's just like, eat this or, do this. And it's like, wait a second, if we can't functionally, for whatever reason, do that, that's not empowering patients. It's actually the opposite. And so I think that that's what our teams really do so well, is to sort of say, okay, this is what we need to work on, because that does matter to you, but we got to get there again. And we have to see how we get there and empower you to do that.
And I want to make one more point, which I know Lexi's team is also very keen on, is our goal is not to get you to whatever weight you were in high school. And so I think sometimes that is something where it's people will come up with, well, I need to be this size, and so we practice with a very weight inclusive approach, because it's a critical piece of meeting patients where they are, and it is not something that we're making judgments about. It is not something that we are out to put you in a specific category. We are here to maintain your muscle and your function as you go through oncology care. If patients have a goal to regain weight, or they have a goal of, I'd like to lose weight, that's often something where we'll say, while you're going through therapy, we want you to focus on building strength. We don't want you to focus on weight loss being the, quote, silver lining of oncology treatment, because what often is the misunderstanding is when you are losing weight, you're losing muscle. And that is not the area we want to make those changes. If anything, it's the opposite. So I just wanted to say that, because I know we've had multiple conversations, and even within our teams together, talking through how our teams can really support this idea of being a weight inclusive approach to care, because that's really not why we're here.
Yeah, and I think Kerry mentioned this earlier, but it's so true. I think exercise can sort of be a bad word for some people, and there can be baggage, or there can be sort of things that, gosh, that just doesn't work. And so we try to be sensitive to that and really just think about movement and what does that mean for you. And for every person, that's very different. There are certain regimens, yes, of course, we can say this many times a week, this many minutes a day, but at the end of the day, it's like, are you moving the dial? Are you moving forward? Are you doing what works for you as an individual? And, every exercise snack, we talk a lot about exercise snacks. It's one of our favorite things of our medical director to sort of prescribe. And so those exercise snacks add up, and it doesn't have to be the exercise meal. You can just do the snacks and you can still get the same benefit. That's really powerful for patients when they're just feeling overwhelmed with this idea of, I'm coming to PT or I'm coming to CNSLP and now they're just gonna all make me do a bunch of exercise, and gosh, that's the last thing I want to do. No, we want them to walk out of there realizing how by doing those small things, they all add up to allow them to meet their goals.
And I would say the same with diet. That brings up a lot of imagery and possibly past trauma for patients. And I don't use that word lightly. So really thinking about your overall nutrition picture is more of what we're talking about. There are times where there are foods or different evidence-based diet plans, like a low fiber diet, meaning for whatever reason, this type of fiber isn't recommended for you right now. But when we're talking about nutrition, we're really wanting to focus more on what can you eat and what's appropriate for you to eat. So I do think it's true that when people hear diet and exercise, they can have a little bit of nutrition and physical activity. And you'll note that neither of our departments have exercise or diet in their names. No. And that's intentional. So
yeah, for sure. We want to always focus on what the patient's ready for and what's possible for them. It's the only way it works.